Have you ever felt like your mind was playing tricks on you? Well, guess what? You can turn the tables and play tricks on your own mind. Today, we're diving into some amazing mind tricks that can change the way you see the world. These aren't just any tricks. They're special ones that can help you on your spiritual journey. Imagine being able to change how you feel, think, and even experience life, all with a few simple tricks. Sounds too good to be true, right? But it's not. These mind tricks are real, and they're powerful. Now, you might be thinking, why should I care about tricking my mind? Well, let me tell you, our minds are like super powerful computers. They're always working, always thinking, and sometimes they can get stuck in not so helpful patterns. But here's the cool part. We can change those patterns. These mind tricks are like cheat codes for your brain. They can help you feel happier, more peaceful, and even more connected to the world around you. The best part? You don't need any special skills or knowledge to use these tricks. They're simple enough for anyone to try, but powerful enough to make a real difference in your life. Whether you're just starting out on your spiritual journey or you've been at it for years, these tricks can help you see things in a whole new way. Now, let's talk about why these mind tricks are such a big deal, especially when it comes to spirituality. You see, spirituality is all about connecting with something bigger than ourselves. It's about finding meaning, peace, and a sense of purpose in life. But sometimes our own minds can get in the way of that connection. We get caught up in worries, doubts, or negative thoughts that keep us from experiencing the peace and joy we're looking for. That's where these mind tricks come in. They're like little tools that help us break free from those mental roadblocks. They can help us see past our usual ways of thinking and open up new possibilities. It's like cleaning a dirty window. Suddenly, you can see the world more clearly, and everything looks brighter and more beautiful. These tricks can change how we perceive things around us, and even how we experience our own thoughts and feelings. Imagine being able to turn a bad mood into a good one, or find calm in the middle of a stressful situation. That's the kind of power these mind tricks can give you. They're not about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, they're about giving you more control over your own mind and how you interact with the world. And here's something really cool. The more you use these tricks, the more you might start to notice little miracles in your everyday life. You might find yourself feeling more grateful, more connected to others, or more in tune with your own inner wisdom. It's like tuning a radio. Suddenly you can hear the music of life more clearly. Now, you might be wondering, if these tricks are so powerful, they must be complicated, right? But that's the beauty of it. They're actually really simple. You don't need any special equipment or years of training. All you need is your own mind and a willingness to try something new. These tricks are things you can do anytime, anywhere. Stuck in traffic? You can use a mind trick. Feeling stressed at work? There's a trick for that too. Having trouble sleeping? Yep, you guessed it. There's a mind trick that can help. They're like little secrets that you can keep in your back pocket, ready to use whenever you need them. And the best part is, the more you practice these tricks, the better they work. It's like exercising a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it gets. At first, you might not notice a big difference. But if you stick with it, you'll start to see changes in how you think, feel, and experience the world around you. So are you ready to learn some mind-bending tricks? get ready, because we're about to dive into 5 amazing tricks that can change the way you see the world. These aren't just party tricks. They're powerful tools that can help you on your spiritual journey and make your everyday life a little bit more magical. Let's start with a trick that might sound a bit strange at first, but trust me, it's pretty amazing. We call it the mirror trick, and it's all about changing how you see yourself and the world around you. Here's how it works. Every morning, when you look in the mirror, instead of focusing on what you don't like or what you want to change, try to find one thing you love about yourself. It could be your smile, your eyes, or even something not physical, like your kindness or your sense of humor. Now here's where the trick comes in. Once you've found that thing you love, say it out loud to yourself. Something like, "I love my kind heart," or "I love how my eyes light up when I smile." It might feel a bit silly at first, but stick with it. Do this every day for a week and try to find something new each time. So, what does this do to your mind? Well, it's like training your brain to focus on the good stuff. Usually our minds are really good at spotting problems or things we don't like. But when we do this trick, we're teaching our brains to look for the positive instead. It's like putting on a pair of good things glasses. Suddenly, you start noticing more and more things you like about yourself. But it doesn't stop there. This trick can change how you see the whole world. When you start looking for good things in yourself, you'll start noticing good things in other people too. You might find yourself smiling more at strangers, or appreciating little acts of kindness that you used to overlook. I remember when I first tried this trick. I was going through a tough time and wasn't feeling great about myself. But after a week of doing the mirror trick, I started to notice a change. Not only did I feel better about myself, but I also started seeing the world differently. I noticed the beautiful sunrise on my way to work, the friendly smile of the coffee shop barista, the way my coworker always offered to help when someone was struggling. It was like the world had suddenly become a brighter, friendlier place. Now you might be thinking, how does this relate to spirituality? Well, many spiritual traditions talk about the idea that the world is a reflection of what's inside us. When we change how we see ourselves, we change how we see the world. This trick is a practical way to experience that idea. By focusing on the good in ourselves, we open our eyes to the good in the world around us. It's like tuning into a different frequency, one that's full of positivity and love. But here's the really cool part. This trick doesn't just change how you see things. It can actually change your reality. When you start looking for good things, you'll probably start acting differently too. You might be kinder to people, more confident at work, or more willing to try new things. And when you do that, the world responds. People might treat you differently, new opportunities might come your way, and you might find yourself having more positive experiences. So, give the mirror trick a try. It only takes a minute each day, but it can make a big difference in how you see yourself and the world around you. Remember, it might feel a bit awkward at first, but stick with it. You might be surprised at how much your world can change just by changing what you focus on in the mirror. Now let's move on to our second mind trick. We call this one the gratitude zoom, and it's all about changing your focus to change your mood. Here's how it works. Whenever you're feeling down, stressed, or just not great, take a moment to zoom in on something you're grateful for. It could be anything. the comfortable chair you're sitting in, the taste of your morning coffee, or the sound of birds singing outside. The key is to really zoom in on that one thing. Don't just think, I'm grateful for my coffee. Instead, try to notice everything about it. How does the mug feel in your hands? Is it warm, cool, smooth, textured? What about the smell of the coffee? Can you pick out different scents? And the taste? Is it bitter, sweet, rich? Try to notice every little detail. So, what does this do to your mind? Well, it's like hitting a reset button on your brain. When we're stressed or upset, our minds tend to zoom out. We start thinking about all our problems, all the things we need to do, all the stuff that's going wrong. It's like we're looking at our life through a wide-angle lens, and all we can see are the negative things. But when we do the gratitude zoom, we force our minds to focus on just one thing. It's like switching from a wide-angle lens to a macro lens. Suddenly, instead of seeing all our problems, we're completely focused on this one good thing. And here's the magic. When we do this, it becomes almost impossible to feel bad at the same time. I remember one day when I was feeling really overwhelmed with work. I had a big project due, my inbox was overflowing, and I felt like I was drowning in stress. But then I remembered the gratitude zoom. I looked around my office and decided to focus on the plant on my desk. I zoomed in on one leaf, really looked at it. I noticed the vibrant green color, the delicate veins running through it, the way it gently moved when I breathed on it. And you know what? After just a minute of this, I felt my stress melting away. I was able to take a deep breath and tackle my work with a clearer head. Now, you might be wondering how this connects to spirituality. Well, many spiritual practices emphasize the importance of being present in the moment. When we're always thinking about the past or worrying about the future, we miss out on the beauty and wonder of right now. The gratitude zoom is a way to practice being present. It's like a mini meditation that you can do anywhere, anytime. But it's not just about feeling better in the moment. The more you practice the gratitude zoom, the more you train your brain to notice good things. It's like you're creating a habit of gratitude. And when you're in the habit of noticing good things, you'll start to see more and more of them in your life. It's like you're tuning your mind to a gratitude frequency. This can have a big impact on your spiritual journey. When we're always focused on what's wrong or what we don't have, it's hard to feel connected to something bigger than ourselves. But when we're regularly noticing and appreciating the good things in our lives, we open ourselves up to feelings of connection, wonder, and awe. We start to see the beauty in small things, and that can lead to a deeper sense of spirituality. The gratitude zoom can also help in tough times. Life isn't always easy, and there will be days when it's hard to find anything to be grateful for. But that's when this trick can be most powerful. Even on your worst day, you can probably find one tiny thing to appreciate. Maybe the softness of your pillow, or the warmth of the sun on your skin. And by focusing on that one thing, you remind yourself that good things still exist, even when life is hard. So give the gratitude zoom a try. Next time you're feeling stressed, overwhelmed, or down, pick one thing and really zoom in on it. Notice every detail. Appreciate it fully. You might be surprised at how quickly it can change your mood and open your eyes to the good things all around you. Now let's move on to our third mind trick. This one is called the what if flip. and it's all about changing the way we think about uncertain situations. You know those times when you're worried about something that might happen? Maybe you have a job interview coming up, or you're waiting for test results, or you're about to try something new. Our minds often go to the worst-case scenario, right? We think, what if I mess up? Or, what if it goes wrong? Well, this trick is about flipping those what-ifs on their head. Here's how it works. Whenever you catch yourself thinking a negative what if, try to flip it to a positive one. So instead of what if I mess up this job interview, you might think, what if I impress them and get the job? Instead of, what if I fail this test? Try, what if I do better than I expected? It's not about ignoring the possibility that things might go wrong. It's about giving equal time to the possibility that things might go right. So, what does this do to your mind? Well, it's like opening up a whole new room in your brain. Usually, when we're worried about something, our minds get stuck in a loop of negative possibilities. It's like we're pacing back and forth in a small, dark room. But when we do the what-if flip, it's like we're opening a door to a bright, sunny room next door. Suddenly, we can see other possibilities. This trick doesn't just make you feel better, although it does do that. It actually changes how your brain works. When we're stuck in negative what-ifs, our bodies react as if the bad thing is already happening. Our hearts race, we get tense, we might even feel sick to our stomachs. But when we flip to positive what-ifs, our bodies start to relax. We breathe easier. We might even smile. And here's the really cool part. When we're in this more relaxed, positive state, we're actually more likely to perform better and make good decisions. I remember when I was getting ready for a big presentation at work. I was so nervous, and my mind kept going to all these negative what-ifs. What if I forget what to say? What if they don't like my ideas? What if I make a fool of myself? I was working myself into a real state of panic. But then I remembered the what-if flip. So I started thinking, what if they love my ideas? What if this presentation leads to a promotion? What if this is the start of something really great for my career? Now, did this make all my nervousness disappear? No, not completely, but it did help me feel more balanced. I wasn't just focused on all the things that could go wrong, I was also excited about the things that could go right. And you know what? That excitement gave me energy. It made me want to prepare even more, to really do my best. And in the end, the presentation went great. Now you might be wondering how this connects to spirituality. Well, many spiritual traditions talk about the power of our thoughts to shape our reality. They teach that what we focus on grows. When we're always focusing on negative possibilities, we're putting a lot of energy into those negative outcomes. We might even unconsciously make choices that make those negative things more likely to happen. But when we use the what-if flip, we're consciously choosing to put energy into positive possibilities. We're opening ourselves up to good things happening. It's like we're sending out an invitation to the universe saying, hey, I'm open to good stuff coming my way. This doesn't mean that nothing bad will ever happen, of course. Life has its ups and downs for everyone. But the what-if flip can help us navigate those ups and downs with more grace and resilience. When we're not always braced for the worst, we're more open to seeing opportunities, more willing to take positive risks, and more able to appreciate the good things when they do happen. The what-if flip can also help us grow spiritually. Many spiritual paths encourage us to trust in something bigger than ourselves, whether that's God, the universe, or simply the flow of life. But it's hard to trust when we're always focused on what might go wrong. The what-if flip helps us practice trust. It's like saying, maybe things will work out even better than I can imagine. This trick can be especially powerful when we're facing big life changes or challenges. Maybe you're thinking about changing careers, or moving to a new city, or ending a relationship. These situations can be scary, and it's natural for our minds to focus on all the things that could go wrong. But by using the what-if flip, we can also consider all the amazing things that could happen. Maybe that new career will be incredibly fulfilling. Maybe you'll meet your best friends in that new city. Maybe ending that relationship will open the door to a healthier, happier one. The what-if flip doesn't mean ignoring potential problems or not preparing for challenges. It's about creating a balance. It's about remembering that for everything that could go wrong, there's also something that could go wonderfully right. So next time you find yourself worrying about a what if, try flipping it. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what if something amazing happens? You might be surprised at how quickly it can change your outlook and open you up to new possibilities. Let's dive into our fourth mind trick, which we call the breath anchor. This trick is all about using your breath to calm your mind and bring you back to the present moment. It's a simple but powerful tool that you can use anywhere, anytime to help you feel more grounded and centered. Here's how it works. Whenever you're feeling stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, take a moment to focus on your breath. But we're not just talking about taking a few deep breaths here. The key is to really pay attention to the sensations of breathing. Feel the air moving in through your nose or mouth. Notice how your chest or belly rises and falls. Pay attention to the temperature of the air. Is it cool as you breathe in and warmer as you breathe out? As you focus on these sensations, try to match your breath to a simple phrase or count. You might think in, out as you breathe, or count 1, 2 with each breath. Some people like to use a longer phrase, like breathing in calm, breathing out tension. The exact words don't matter. What's important is linking your breath to something your mind can focus on. So, what does this do to your mind? Well, it's like dropping an anchor in the stormy sea of your thoughts. When we're stressed or anxious, our minds are often racing, jumping from one worry to another. It's like we're being tossed around by waves of thoughts and emotions. But when we focus on our breath in this way, we give our mind something steady to hold on to. It's like we're saying to our brain, hey, let's take a break from all that worrying and just focus on this for a moment. The breath anchor works because breathing is something that's always happening, whether we pay attention to it or not. It's a constant, reliable presence in our lives. By choosing to focus on it, we're bringing our attention to the here and now. We're stepping out of our swirling thoughts about the past or future and grounding ourselves in the present moment. I remember one time when I was stuck in terrible traffic. I was already running late for an important meeting, and I could feel my stress levels rising with every minute that ticked by. My mind was racing with thoughts of what my boss would say, how this would affect my work, whether this would mess up my whole day. But then I remembered the breath anchor. I started focusing on my breath, feeling the air moving in and out, counting 1, 2 with each breath. At first it was hard to keep my focus. My mind kept trying to jump back to all those worrying thoughts. but I gently brought my attention back to my breath each time. After a few minutes, I noticed something amazing. The traffic hadn't changed. I was still stuck, but I felt different. My shoulders had relaxed, my grip on the steering wheel had loosened, and I felt calmer. I was still in the same situation, but my experience of it had completely changed. Now, you might be wondering how this relates to spirituality. Well, many spiritual traditions have practices that involve focusing on the breath. In Buddhism, for example, breath meditation is a key practice for developing mindfulness and insight. In yoga, the breath is seen as a way to connect the body and mind. Even in Christian contemplative practices, the breath is often used as a way to center oneself in prayer. The reason the breath is so important in these traditions is that it's seen as a bridge between the conscious and unconscious mind, between our physical body and our inner world. When we focus on our breath, we're not just calming our racing thoughts, we're actually tuning in to a deeper part of ourselves. But you don't need to follow any particular spiritual tradition to benefit from the breath anchor. It's a practical tool that can help anyone, anywhere, anytime. Whether you're stuck in traffic, preparing for a big presentation, or just feeling overwhelmed by life, the breath anchor can help you find a moment of calm. And here's the really cool part. The more you practice the breath anchor, the more powerful it becomes. It's like you're creating a habit of calmness. Over time, you might find that you start to breathe more deeply and calmly without even thinking about it. You might notice that you're better able to handle stress, or that you're more aware of your emotions before they overwhelm you. The breath anchor can also be a gateway to deeper spiritual practices if you're interested in exploring them. Once you're comfortable with focusing on your breath, you might want to try longer meditation sessions or explore other mindfulness practices. But even if you never take it further than a few minutes of focused breathing when you're feeling stressed, the breath anchor can be a powerful tool for bringing more peace and calm into your life. So, give the breath anchor a try. Next time you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, take a moment to focus on your breath. Feel the sensations of breathing and match your breath to a simple count or phrase. You might be surprised at how quickly it can help you feel more grounded and centered no matter what's going on around you. Now, let's move on to our fifth and final mind trick. We call this one the Reframe Game, and it's all about changing the way we interpret situations in our lives. You know how sometimes a single event can completely ruin our day? Maybe someone cuts us off in traffic, or we get a rude email from a coworker, or we make a mistake on an important project. Our minds often jump to the worst interpretation of these events, right? Well, the Reframe Game is about challenging those interpretations and finding new ways to look at situations. Here's how it works. When something happens that upsets you, take a moment to pause. Then, challenge yourself to come up with at least 3 different ways to interpret what happened. The key is to include at least one positive or neutral interpretation. For example, if someone cuts you off in traffic, your interpretations might be: 1. They're a rude, inconsiderate driver. 2. They might be rushing to an emergency. 3. They made a mistake and didn't see me. The goal isn't to decide which interpretation is right. It's simply to remind yourself that there are always multiple ways to look at a situation. By coming up with different interpretations, we're flexing our mental muscles and breaking out of rigid thinking patterns. So what does this do to your mind? Well, it's like giving your brain a new pair of glasses. Usually, when something upsetting happens, our minds automatically put on the "this is terrible" glasses. We see everything through the lens of how bad, unfair, or annoying it is. But when we play the reframe game, it's like we're trying on different pairs of glasses. Suddenly, we can see the situation from different angles. This doesn't mean pretending that everything is wonderful all the time. The goal isn't to ignore real problems or always look on the bright side. Instead, it's about recognizing that our initial interpretation of a situation isn't the only possible interpretation. It's about giving ourselves the mental flexibility to see things in different ways. I remember one time when I was working on a big project at work. I had spent weeks on it, and I was really proud of what I'd done. But when I presented it to my boss, her response was lukewarm. She pointed out several things that needed to be changed and didn't seem impressed at all. At first, I was devastated. My mind immediately went to thoughts like, "I'm not good at my job," and "my boss doesn't appreciate me." But then I remembered the reframe game. I challenged myself to come up with different interpretations of what had happened. Maybe my boss was having a bad day, and it had nothing to do with my work. Maybe she had really high standards because she saw my potential. Maybe this was an opportunity for me to improve my work and learn new skills. Did this make me feel instantly better? Not exactly. I still felt disappointed, but it did help me avoid spiraling into negative thoughts. Instead of getting stuck in feelings of failure, I was able to look at the situation more objectively. I could see it as a chance to improve rather than a reflection of my worth as a person or an employee. Now you might be wondering how this connects to spirituality. Well, many spiritual traditions teach that our experience of life is shaped by our perceptions. They suggest that true wisdom comes from being able to see beyond our immediate reactions and judgments. The reframe game is a practical way to put this wisdom into action. In Buddhism, for example, there's a practice called turning the mind, where you deliberately look for the positive aspects of difficult situations. In Christian teachings, there's the idea of seeing with the eyes of faith, looking for God's purpose even in challenging circumstances. The reframe game is like a secular version of these spiritual practices. But you don't need to follow any particular spiritual path to benefit from the reframe game. It's a practical tool that can help anyone navigate life's ups and downs with more grace and resilience. When we're not locked into one way of seeing things, we're more open to learning, growth, and new possibilities. The reframe game can be especially powerful when we're dealing with long-term challenges or recurring problems. Maybe you have a difficult relationship with a family member, or you're struggling with a health issue, or you're unhappy in your job. These situations can feel overwhelming and unchangeable, but by practicing the reframe game, we can often find new perspectives that open up possibilities for change, or at least help us cope better. For example, if you're dealing with a chronic illness, your initial frame might be, "This is unfair, and it's ruining my life." While it's completely valid to feel that way, staying stuck in that frame can lead to feelings of helplessness and depression. But what if you also considered frames like, "This is teaching me to appreciate the good days more deeply," or "This challenge is helping me develop strength I never knew I had," or "This experience is giving me empathy for others who are struggling"? Again, The point isn't to pretend everything is great when it's not. It's about giving ourselves more mental and emotional options. It's about not getting stuck in one way of seeing things, especially when that way of seeing things isn't helping us. The reframe game can also help us in our relationships with others. Often conflicts arise because we're stuck in our own interpretation of events. But if we can practice reframing, we might be able to see things from the other person's perspective. This can lead to more empathy, better communication, and stronger relationships. So give the reframe game a try. Next time something upsets you, pause for a moment. Challenge yourself to come up with at least 3 different ways to interpret what happened. Remember, the goal isn't to decide which interpretation is right. It's simply to remind yourself that there are always multiple ways to look at a situation. You might be surprised at how this simple practice can change your experience of life's challenges and open you up to new possibilities. Now that we've explored these 5 mind tricks, you might be wondering how to actually use them in your daily life. The good news is, these tricks are incredibly versatile. You can use them anytime, anywhere, and they don't require any special equipment or preparation. But like any skill, they do take practice to master. So let's talk about how you can incorporate these tricks into your everyday routine. First, it's important to understand that these tricks work best when you use them regularly, not just when you're in crisis mode. Think of them like exercising. You wouldn't expect to get fit by only working out when you're already exhausted or stressed, right? The same goes for these mind tricks. The more you practice them in your everyday life, the more effective they'll be when you really need them. Let's start with the mirror trick. This one is perfect for making part of your morning routine. Every day when you're getting ready, take a moment to look in the mirror and find something you appreciate about yourself. Say it out loud. It might feel awkward at first, but stick with it. Over time, you'll find it gets easier and more natural. The gratitude zoom can be used throughout your day. You might want to set reminders on your phone to prompt you to do a quick gratitude zoom a few times a day. Or you could make it a habit to do a gratitude zoom whenever you're waiting, in line at the grocery store, at a red light, or while your coffee is brewing. These moments of waiting that we usually find annoying can become opportunities for practicing gratitude. The what if flip is great to use whenever you notice yourself worrying about something. It might help to keep a small notebook or use a notes app on your phone to jot down your worries and their positive flips. This not only helps you practice the trick, but also lets you look back and see how often things actually turn out okay. The breath anchor is a trick you can literally use anywhere, anytime. Waiting for an important phone call? Use the breath anchor. Feeling nervous before a presentation? Breath anchor. Can't sleep at night? Breath anchor. The more you practice this one in calm moments, the easier it will be to use when you're really feeling stressed. As for the reframe game, this one takes a bit more mental energy, so it might be good to set aside some time each day to practice it. Maybe at the end of each day, you could reflect on one thing that bothered you and practice reframing it. Or you could make it a weekly practice, perhaps on Sunday evenings, to look back on the week and reframe any challenging situations. Now here's a key point to remember. These tricks aren't about forcing yourself to be happy all the time or ignoring real problems. They're tools to help you navigate life's ups and downs with more resilience and clarity. It's okay to have bad days or to feel upset when difficult things happen. These tricks aren't about suppressing those feelings, but about giving you more options for how to respond to them. It's also important to be patient with yourself as you learn to use these tricks. Like any new skill, it takes time and practice to get comfortable with them. You might forget to use them sometimes, or find that they don't seem to work right away. That's okay. Learning to use these tricks is a journey, not a destination. One way to help yourself remember to use these tricks is to link them to specific triggers in your environment. For example, you could decide that every time you wash your hands, you'll do a quick gratitude zoom. Or every time you get in your car, you'll do the breath anchor for a few breaths before starting the engine. By linking the tricks to actions you do every day, you can start to make them a natural part of your routine. You might also find it helpful to share these tricks with friends or family members. You could create a buddy system where you check in with each other about how you're using the tricks, or share your experiences with them. This not only helps you stay accountable, but also spreads the benefits to others. Remember, the goal of these tricks isn't to completely eliminate stress or negative emotions from your life. That's not realistic or even desirable. Stress and difficult emotions are a normal part of life, and they can often teach us important things. The goal is to give you more tools to manage these experiences, to help you respond to life's challenges with more flexibility and resilience. As you practice these tricks, you might start to notice subtle changes in your life. Maybe you find yourself feeling grateful more often, or recovering more quickly from setbacks. Maybe you notice that you're less reactive to minor annoyances, or more able to see different perspectives in conflicts. These small changes can add up to big differences in your overall well-being and your relationships with others. And here's something really cool. As you get more comfortable with these tricks, you might find yourself naturally adapting them or coming up with your own variations. Maybe you'll discover a new way to use the reframe game in your work life, or find a unique phrase that really resonates with you for the breath anchor. That's great. These tricks are meant to be flexible tools that you can adapt to your own needs and preferences. Ultimately, using these mind tricks in your daily life is about creating new habits of thinking and perceiving. It's about training your mind to be more flexible, more resilient, and more open to positive possibilities. It's not always easy, and it does take consistent effort. But the potential benefits, more peace of mind, better relationships, greater resilience in the face of challenges, make it well worth the effort. So, start small. Pick one trick that resonates with you and commit to practicing it every day for a week. See how it feels, what changes you notice. Then, gradually add in the others as you feel ready. Remember, there's no rush and no perfect way to do this. The most important thing is to start and to keep going, one day at a time. Your mind and your life will thank you for it. Now that we've explored these mind tricks and how to use them in daily life, you might have some questions. That's totally normal. Learning new ways of thinking can bring up all sorts of thoughts and concerns. So let's tackle some common questions that people often have when they start working with these mind tricks. Do these tricks really work? This is probably the biggest question on your mind. The short answer is yes, they can work, but they're not magic. These tricks are based on principles of psychology and mindfulness that have been studied and practiced for years. But like any tool, their effectiveness depends on how you use them. They work best when you practice them regularly and with an open mind. Many people wonder, how long will it take before I see results? This is a tricky question because everyone's experience is different. Some people might notice a change in their mood or outlook after just a few days of practicing these tricks. For others, it might take weeks or even months to see significant changes. The key is to be patient and consistent. Remember, you're basically retraining your brain, and that takes time. Another common concern is, what if I can't do these tricks right? Here's the thing. There's no right or wrong way to do these tricks. The most important thing is that you're trying. If you're doing the mirror trick and you can't think of anything you like about yourself one day, that's okay. The act of looking and trying is still valuable. If your mind wanders during the breath anchor, that's normal. Just gently bring your attention back to your breath when you notice. It's all part of the process. Some people ask, can these tricks replace therapy or medication? This is an important question. While these mind tricks can be powerful tools for improving your mental well-being, they're not a substitute for professional help if you're dealing with serious mental health issues. If you're struggling with depression, anxiety, or other mental health concerns, it's important to talk to a healthcare provider. These tricks can be a great complement to professional treatment, but they shouldn't replace it. What if I forget to use the tricks? Don't worry, this happens to everyone. We all have busy lives, and it's easy to forget new habits. If you forget one day, just start again the next day. You might find it helpful to set reminders on your phone, or to link the tricks to daily activities, as we discussed earlier. The important thing is to be kind to yourself and keep trying. A question that often comes up is, can these tricks help with specific problems, like public speaking anxiety or relationship issues? While these tricks are general tools for mental well-being, they can definitely be applied to specific situations. For example, the what-if flip could be great for managing public speaking anxiety, helping you imagine positive outcomes instead of worst-case scenarios. The Reframe game could be very useful in relationship conflicts, helping you see things from your partner's perspective. Some people wonder, is it normal to feel silly or awkward when doing these tricks? Absolutely. Especially when you're first starting out, it can feel strange to talk to yourself in the mirror or to deliberately change your thoughts. This feeling is totally normal and usually fades with practice. Remember, you're learning a new skill, and that often feels awkward at first. What if I try these tricks and they don't work for me? This is a valid concern. While these tricks are helpful for many people, everyone's mind works differently. If you've given them a fair try and they're not helping, it's okay to look for other approaches. You might want to explore other mindfulness techniques, try journaling, or talk to a therapist about strategies that might work better for you. A deeper question that some people have is, won't these tricks just make me ignore real problems in my life? This is a thoughtful concern. The goal of these tricks isn't to ignore problems or pretend everything is fine when it's not. Instead, they're meant to help you approach problems with a clearer, calmer mind. By managing your stress and changing your perspective, you might actually be better equipped to deal with real issues in your life. Finally, some people ask, Can kids use these tricks too? Absolutely. In fact, many of these tricks can be adapted to be fun for kids. The gratitude zoom could become a game of I spy things to be thankful for. The Reframe game could help kids deal with playground conflicts. Teaching these tricks to kids can give them valuable tools for emotional regulation that will serve them well throughout their lives. Remember, it's okay to have questions and doubts as you start working with these mind tricks. Keep exploring, keep practicing, and most importantly, be patient and kind with yourself as you learn. These tricks are tools to help you, not rules to restrict you. Use them in the way that works best for you. As we wrap up our exploration of these mind tricks, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. We've journeyed through 5 powerful techniques that have the potential to transform how you think, feel, and interact with the world around you. From the self-love boost of the mirror trick to the perspective-shifting power of the Reframe game, each of these tricks offers a unique way to enhance your mental and spiritual well-being. Remember, these aren't just random tips or quick fixes. They're tools rooted in psychological principles and spiritual wisdom, designed to help you navigate life's challenges with more grace, resilience, and positivity. The mirror trick helps you cultivate self-appreciation. The gratitude zoom trains your brain to notice and savor the good things in life. The what-if flip empowers you to challenge negative thought patterns and open yourself to positive possibilities. The breath anchor gives you a way to find calm and centeredness in any situation. And the Reframe game helps you develop mental flexibility and see situations from multiple perspectives. But here's the most important thing to remember. These tricks aren't about achieving perfection or eliminating all negative experiences from your life. They're about giving you more choices in how you respond to life's ups and downs. They're about helping you build a more balanced, resilient mindset that can weather storms and appreciate sunshine in equal measure. As you go forward from here, I encourage you to approach these tricks with curiosity and openness. Try them out, play with them, make them your own. Don't worry about getting them right. There's no perfect way to do these tricks. The most important thing is that you're making an effort to engage with your mind in new ways. Start small. Maybe choose one trick that resonates with you and commit to practicing it for a week. Notice how it feels, what changes you observe, both big and small. Then, gradually incorporate the others as you feel ready. Remember, this is a journey, not a destination. Every time you practice one of these tricks, you're taking a step towards a more balanced, aware, and resilient you. There will likely be times when you forget to use these tricks, or when they don't seem to be working. That's okay. Be patient and kind with yourself. Learning to work with your mind in new ways takes time and practice. The effort you're putting in is valuable, even if you don't see immediate results. As you practice these tricks, you might start to notice subtle changes in your life. Maybe you'll find yourself feeling grateful more often, or recovering more quickly from setbacks. Perhaps you'll notice that you're less reactive to minor annoyances, or more able to see different perspectives in conflicts. Celebrate these small victories. They're signs of real growth and change. Remember, too, that these tricks are flexible tools. Feel free to adapt them to your needs, or even to create your own variations. The more you make them a natural part of your life, the more powerful they become. Ultimately, These mind tricks are about more than just feeling better in the moment. They're about cultivating a deeper, more meaningful relationship with yourself and the world around you. They're about opening yourself up to new possibilities, to growth, to connection. In a world that often feels chaotic and overwhelming, these tricks offer a way to find balance, clarity, and peace within yourself. So, as you go forward from here, carry these tricks with you like a toolkit for your mind. Use them often, share them with others if you feel inclined, and most importantly, be open to the positive changes they can bring into your life. Remember, your mind is powerful beyond measure, and with these tricks, you have the ability to shape your experience of life in beautiful and meaningful ways. Thank you for joining me on this journey of exploration and growth. Here's to the amazing possibilities that await as you begin to play these tricks on your own mind. May they bring you clarity, peace, and joy in all aspects of your life.